99% of the time, you're going to have to personally guarantee on behalf of the business. Now I'm going to give you exactly how your personal credit profile needs to look in the eyes of the bank so that you can get access to funding. But I first want to break down the 5 C's that actually make up a personal credit profile. The first C is new credit. That makes up 10%. Personal FICO credit score ranges from 300 to 850 possible points. So the first component of the credit score is going to be new credit, which makes up 10% of the credit score. This is going to take a look at any new credit accounts that were recently opened or any credit inquiries. The second C is going to be credit types, which also makes up 10%. This is going to be what variations of credit do you have on your personal credit profile? Meaning, do you have personal auto loans? Do you have any regular installment loans? Do you just have revolving accounts like bank credit cards? And so banks like to see a nice blend, a nice mix of different types of accounts because this is going to let them know how well you've done in managing debt as the business owner. The third piece of the credit score is length of credit history. This takes a look at how long your credit accounts have been active. And the last 2 pieces make up a total of 65% of your FICO score. You have your credit utilization, which makes up 30%. This is going to take a look at your credit limit and how much is currently being used. And then your payment history, which makes up 35%. This is going to take a look at whether or not you've been making your past payments on time. Now, I don't know about you, but I also like to see it from a points perspective. So if we're converting the percentages to points, here's how this breaks down. You have new credit at 10%, which makes up 85 points of the total 850. You have types of credit, which also makes up 10%. That's also 85 points. You have length of credit history. That's 15%, and that makes up 127.5 points. You have credit utilization or credit usage at 30%. That makes up 255 points. And then you have payment history at 35%, and that makes up 297.5 points. Now, I tell you this, but I don't just want you to focus on your credit score. You also want to pay attention to something called a credit profile. A business owner's credit profile is more important than just a credit score. Here's what I mean. I want you to think of your credit score kind of like a money grade. It's the number that shows of how good you are at using money. If the number is high, then that means that you're good at using money. If that number is low, then that means you're maybe not as careful with how you've been using the money that you've been given. Now, I want you to think of a credit profile kind of like a money story. It's like a book that talks about how you've actually been using the money that you've been given. It includes things like on-time payments, how much money you have access to, and how long you've been using that money for. This helps the person who wants to lend you money, which in this case is the bank. It lets them know and gives them the full picture of how good and diligent you've been at using the resources that, again, you've had access to up to this point. So let's use a real world example. We have business owner A and we have business owner B. Let's start with business owner A. Business owner A has a 790 credit score. They have 1 credit card with a total of $5,000 on it. It's only been open for about 2 years. They have no mortgages, no auto loans, and they have 1 revolving credit card with 0 installment accounts. Now let's take a look at business owner B. Business owner B also has a 790 credit score, but they have 6 credit cards, which again are revolving accounts, with a total of $40,000 in available credit. They have 1 mortgage and 1 auto loan. So all things being equal, the type of business that they're involved in, the geographic location where they live, how long they've been in business, the structure of the business, funds in the account, the bank is going to prefer to do business with business owner B versus business owner A, even if they have the same exact credit score. If you're wondering why that is, it's because they've shown that they're able to manage more debt and a variety of debts over a longer period of time. And that's usually a clear indicator to the banks that if they're going to extend out a larger line of credit on the business side, then they're able to mitigate their risk with that business owner because they've shown previous responsibility. Now let's go back and put this together for what should be on your personal credit profile. You should have no less than 5 primary accounts. Now, we're not including authorized users and we're not including store cards. These are primary accounts that belong to you. You want to have at least 1 of the credit cards with total credit of at least $10,000 or more. At least 2 or more installment accounts. This can be a personal loan, a personal line of credit, an auto loan, or a mortgage or 2. 5 years of credit age, 10 to 20% of total credit usage. Ideally, the closer you can get that to 0, the better. And then absolutely no negative items like late payments, collections, charge-offs, or bankruptcies.